Hey guys, and welcome to Pitch It Live. We are live streaming from IT Nation Evolve peer group meetings. My name's Adam Belansky, and I am founder and CEO of Sierra Pacific Group and the ConnectWise boss. And I'm actually remote today, working from Colorado, Denver, Colorado, at the IT Nation Evolve peer group meeting. So Sean Lardo will be joining us here shortly. But Sierra Pacific Group, we help technology business leaders leverage ConnectWise products to get the most out of their systems with proven best practices and industry proven strategies quickly and efficiently. We've done over 1,000 implementations, optimizations, and custom projects. And we have the answers. We've done the hard work. So you really don't have to learn the hard way like I did. And let's see if Sean is not here, but we are here for Pitch It Live. Pitch It Live is a accelerator course for our aspiring vendors in the community. Some of them have existing. I'm going to have to change this up here because there, I think we can hear everybody now. So I think we're good now.
Oh yeah.
So since he didn't figure out his technology, we're here live.
We're at a conference we're at a conference for technology, and I can't figure out my technology.
So we're here for Pitch It Live. So Sean, tell us what Pitch It Live is.
So remember when you said I was your significant other, right? This is
exactly.
This was an amazing time for me. Good,
Yeah.
yes. So pitch it. So what pitch? So what pitch it is very simple. Is we started off a Shark Tank about 5 years ago. It's for a place for startup companies, startup vendors to come in, start to get more acclimated with the ConnectWise environment, solely involved with integrating within the community, integrating to the partners, and being a product that they can use. At the end of this, there's 18 vendors now involved. We're about to meet another one today. And we're going to go through this. We went through this accelerator program. We're about to hit the preliminary round where they get judged, limited down to 3 people, 3 vendors. And after the end of 3 vendors, those 3 vendors get to go to IT Nation Connect. The other ones too, if they want to sponsor, of course. But also they're going for the big prize of $70,000. They're going to pitch live at IT Nation Connect. So yeah.
Sweet. That's pretty awesome. And really kind of tell me about really Pitch It, the innovation around Pitch It, and kind of what our CEO.
It's great.
It's just fantastic. We're like right here.
I know, it's like quality time. So last year at IT Nation Connect, Jason McGee, our CEO, put out the 3 promises. And this emulates all of this. Easier to do business with, even more invested in partner growth, and more innovation faster. I mean, we can talk about the innovations because all these vendors that we've seen are extremely innovative and they are constantly working to improve. So yeah, that already answers that question. And I want to give a shout out to Andrea Barrow. We do look cute. Thank you for that. She sent us messages, privately, but yes.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. So the IT Nation Evolve is really fantastic if you're not involved in the IT Nation community, peer groups, and we have an event Connect coming up too. So
yeah, we do.
It's pretty awesome.
We do.
But we are here for one reason. We are here as Pitch It, and we have a person sitting here in the lounge.
Absolutely. In the lounge? Is it called?
Yeah.
They call it the green room.
The green room.
The green room.
The professionals. Well, you know how we do things here. We don't work on computers and wait till the last second.
My laptop's over on the bar right now, not working. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, Cam from AlertOps. How you doing, man?
Doing good, Adam.
Awesome.
Hey, what's up, Cam? No, long time no see. I just saw you like 18 hours ago.
Yeah. How's everything been since then?
Here we are. I mean, see this? See, look at all.
I don't have any unicorn a pillow or anything like that. But Cam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I work with AlertOps. We're an incident automation and management tool. So I head up the success team. A lot of onboarding integration and based there.
Awesome. So let's talk about AlertOps. What's it do?
So we're alert management and incident response. I like to think of it as a digital switchboard. We adjust signals, we process them based on rules that applied. We will alert those people and our systems to automate alert management as well as response orchestration with any downstream systems.
Awesome. So how long have you guys been doing this for?
So AlertOps actually was founded as a standalone company in about 2019. It branched out from our parent company, which was a custom development shop that was made for a very specific client. And we held on to the IP, expanded it out to the general market, and hit the market in 2019.
Nice. All right. So you mentioned digital switchboard, right? So that immediately makes me think easy to use, easy to work with, velocity. How do you do this?
Yeah, 100%. So right now, I think that one of the biggest terms I hear thrown around, whether it's an industry report or like a client or a prospect, is digital transformation. So from a digital transformation perspective, everything in some capacity has a cloud-based element. So being able to tie in all of the cloud-based systems and anything that's legacy and on-prem, and facilitating those to come into a single pane of glass, but I'd say more importantly, a single pane of evaluation, right? We structure those rule sets so that when we ingest 50 signals, you really only have to look at the one that matters.
Sweet. So, I'm an MSP business, or I don't actually own one, but let's just take a scenario.
Let's just pretend. Go ahead. That's fine.
Or
We got you.
pretend, yeah, or pretend I'm an MSP business. So, like, what problem are you solving for an MSP business? What issue are they having that your software kind of plugs the hole for?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's two or threefold in that scenario, right? The most direct impact in terms of technicians and engineers, I'd say, is going to be around on-call. If we're talking about on-call, generically, a lot of the times people with no alert management solution or an alert management solution that doesn't work too well are up till 2 a.m. waiting for a ticket to hit the board that they care about, waiting so that they can triage something that's going to come back up online 5 minutes later. So that quality of life for on-call technicians, and kind of re-envisioning the framework of on-call not being as painful as everyone dreading it to be, is definitely one of the big areas that I think we see the biggest immediate value driver. The second piece is almost from a standpoint of like middleware. If you see, if we're talking about RMM tools, if we're talking about network monitoring solutions, server monitoring solutions, from that standpoint, a lot of the times these checks are run every 30 seconds, every 2 minutes. And the level of volume that a lot of these tickets are creating, right? Maybe 10 tickets are created for something that just one could be created for. Being able to apply a lot of the rule sets that exist in AlertOps reduce that chance of false positive, as well as reduce some of like the overhead there. And Tim, 100%.
Look at that. I mean, I think this is what this is all about for you, right, Cam? Is make it easy for the techs to do their job. You mentioned one point of evaluation as well, because so you're able to segment and push to the right party, correct?
Yeah. Exactly. So does something need to go directly to a level 3 versus does it need to go to dispatch first, right? Even being able to eliminate some subset of that process that would otherwise go through dispatch is definitely pretty powerful there.
I got it. I'm manning. I got the mute. We have to mute you. We have to mute ourselves while you're talking because there's an echo. So it was my turn to hit the button. I failed miserably. So you mentioned about a single pane of glass as well, right? So I immediately started thinking about integrations, and where most of these MSPs dwell. So, obviously you guys are integrating into ConnectWise. Anything else? Anywhere else that people could work with?
Absolutely. So I think that we definitely have a large presence, right, within the MSP perspective as far as our client base is concerned. With that said, though, our integrations are fairly open. And that's one of the ways that the platform has been architected, that we can ingest via email connector for things that aren't capable of posting via REST, but anything that can post to a REST API, we can go ahead and ingest data from, whether it's a simple webhook, whether they're formatting their API call per a preset format versus something that is a bit more custom. So pretty much anything that can talk to an API or send an email, we can talk to. And on the outbound side, we can send messages to anything that has a REST or SOAP API.
Awesome. So everybody can work within their own realm, in their own world. Because that's always the big challenge. Is the biggest challenge is not too many portals, not too many platforms. Mm-hmm. That's what MSPs don't want. So they can work. So yours is a standalone as well, or do you have to reside within a platform?
I'd say it's a bit of a hybrid there. It's a mix of both. So in the case that you did want to use AlertOps as a portal, it exists standalone, and it can pretty much just initially be configured there. And then you want to operate purely mobily or out of your ticketing system, your PSA, you can do that as well. In the case that you wanted to structure certain triggers based on an update to a priority or a type or a status, whatever that might be, you can work pretty solely out of your ticketing system, and maybe you want multi-channel alerting. So you get a text message or you get a push notification via the mobile app. You can respond right there, but you're working out of your primary interface, which might be your ITSM, your PSA, whatever system of choice you might have.
So, okay, so with all this said, have you ever done an evaluation on how much time people save as a result of your product?
Yeah, 100%. So on average, the time to assembly is cut down by 30%. And then the overall average for the time to respond to actual incidents, right? When will this be assigned? When is this actually actioned? Is 67%.
That's awesome. It's pretty precise.
Yeah, that's
67%. Like this is
I think you forgot the 0.4 and a half.
I rounded down.
You rounded. Perfect. Okay. So with that said, now since you already have that percentage, do you ever quantify that into costs, like savings, money, actual dollars?
So that piece is actually a little bit more difficult for us, just because we have a wide array of verticals, but also company sizes. So if we're talking about average revenue, it's going to differ so widely from organization to organization. We're talking everything from 1 to 2 user mom and pop shops to multiple thousands of users in data warehouses. So coming to that average cost savings probably would be more discernible based on vertical or based on average size, but holistically, that number has definitely been something that we're trying to work on getting.
You want to say something?
I was saying, whoa.
All right, whoa. Okay, so with that said, now what about how's the experience look whenever they get with you as far as onboarding?
So that's actually one of the nice pieces about AlertOps is right now we really don't have the concept of charging for professional services during onboarding. And because the actual application is fairly simple to navigate and maneuver, we'll have a success engineer when you're trialing the platform help you walk through and then kind of overcome that hump of any initial learning curve. And by the time that you're done with your trial, you put your credit card in, you pay your invoice, you've pretty much got an environment that's set up. And in 99% of cases, the integrations and policies don't change that much. It's kind of set it and forget it. In the case that you might have some changes to your on-call scheduling, or maybe you'd want to add a new escalation path, that's really where we see people interacting with the web application. But outside of that, they're really responding from their ticketing tool, or they're responding through the mobile app or text message.
Sweet. So I was just checking out your website, and I'm just curious. Is there pricing on there? What does the onboarding look like? Can you go down that rabbit hole, if you will?
Yeah, 100%. So as far as pricing, it's fairly simple. Though it's going to be a model of per user per month there. We start out with a freemium tier, so $0 a month with some limited functionality, predominantly for people that want to try it out and build up to where their needs really lie. We actually have the standard at starting at $5 per user per month, premium at $15, enterprise at $23. One thing that you're not actually going to find on our website's pricing page that we've introduced fairly frequently, I want to say a couple months ago, is an MSP specific bundle. So a lot of the things that we've seen MSPs drive value from, and a package that sits somewhere between premium and enterprise, but is only $1 more than the premium level. And that's going to have additional workflows, the type of bidirectional interactions that they'd like with their PSA tools. And throughout the course of the onboarding, in that space, tools like ConnectWise, tools like Auvik, tools like Meraki that we see quite frequently, we will help individuals get set up with there as well.
Do you sell directly to MSPs or do you sell to businesses directly as well? I mean, or is it strictly channel only?
So at the moment, we're predominantly direct. Any channels that we leverage are as a byproduct of a request. So in the case that a specific client needs a reseller, something of that nature. But at the moment, we operate predominantly direct sales.
Cool.
So you're new into the channel.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, so with that, are you going to see a varied pricing model? You mentioned it already, but you're under the assumption that they're in between the two highest levels, right, for this MSP offering, correct? What if they're not? Is there an a la carte for them? Is there, again, because you have a wide array of MSPs sizes and also who they support customer wise.
Yeah, 100%. So I'd say that in the case that they're not leveraging really that premium plus tier, they're going to be standard, right? If someone needs some level of just basic scheduling and they want to get a notification, they don't need it necessarily to write back to their other tools. They don't have stakeholders or end users that they need involved. Then they're really going to be looking at that standard tier. So for basic alerting, there definitely we're gonna be pushing the standard. But in the case you do need some of the more granular functionality with bidirectional integration, then I would recommend one of the other two there.
Okay, so the question is going to be from every MSP. Couple things here. You're selling direct, so you have a price page up where people can come to you direct once they know who you are, right? That's one. Mm-hmm. Two, with that said, how do they compete price wise unless you're going to discount for them so they can actually meet the same price point, or because they have to make money elsewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Three, how do they secure their leads, their customers? How do they know that you're not going to interfere? Those are going to be big questions. So start where you feel like it.
100%. So really the way that it works as it stands today is going to be that we're selling direct to the MSPs. And I'd say that there are two categories. One that are predominantly using it for internal IT, and then ones that are using it as a hybrid of internal IT as well as stakeholder or client-based notifications. So the internal IT portion is kind of standardized in that set. With that said, though, the stakeholder piece is really where it comes down to some level of variability. And that's going to be based on the volume. And based on the volume, we would discount something based off of list price so they can pass that along to their customers as well. So at the moment, passing directly to the clients or customers of the MSP is going to be done predominantly with that stakeholder user line item. And that is fairly variable in terms of price there.
Awesome. Okay, so and partner program itself, is there going to be a channel type referral program, or is there going to be a white label offer, or anything? Is there anything in plans for that?
Yes. So early 2023 is when we're hoping to get something with respect to a referral program. But as far as white labeled solutions, that's going to be towards Q3 or Q4 of 2023, but definitely on the roadmap.
Okay. So as it stands then, as of today, the MSP has to purchase from you, add it on as a utility, and then sell to the customer.
Yeah, effectively. So that add-on is going to be part of that initial package, right? So they're just subscribing to X amount of licenses, and we would provide that at whatever discount cost. So right now it's fairly variable based on the structure of their pricing that they pass on to their customers. So really we look at it more as a partnership from a stakeholder perspective than just directly a customer. So however they'd like to pass it along to their clients, we're definitely willing to work with our MSPs.
Okay, and does the end user know you guys exist then in this case?
It depends. Really, it's going to be up to that MSP to disclose the information. I know that in some cases where our MSPs have government contracts and clients, that they will definitely disclose that and make sure that they have XYZ service offering along with some of our security information presented. But then in other cases, they really don't, right? So AlertOps exists purely behind the scenes, maybe with some branded emails or text messages or Teams notifications that are being posted, but they don't necessarily know that it's AlertOps posting them. So that really exists with the MSP today.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that. So two things here when I think about this. You mentioned government, right? Contracts. Mm-hmm. I know that I've worked with plenty of RFPs with MSPs as vendors. do you have a documentation place for them to get what they need, or do you provide a sales engineer or whatever? How do you do this to make sure that they fit this, they meet the criteria for these?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So
absolutely. So
it's going to
it's
be
going
a
to be a
mix
mix
of
of
both,
both,
right? So
right? So
once you're signed up, we will provide you access to any internal documentation. And then additionally, we do assign a customer success engineer throughout the course of onboarding and evaluation. So that way you actually have a bit more of a personalized touch as far as someone that can respond to any of your questions there.
So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know me and my security.
Yep.
All the acronyms out there in the marketplace. We had a great question come in from Tim Golden, Timothy Golden. You know, how do you deal with security with a SOC, FedRAMP, and ISO, whatever FedRAMP is? But you go ahead and Fed and ramp it up.
Absolutely. So as far as SOC, we do get annual SOC 2 audits. And then additionally, as far as ISO, currently we as a product are not ISO 27001 certified, but all of our Azure data warehouses are going to be ISO 27001. Similarly, we're actually currently in the process of, as a product, being FedRAMPed. All of our data centers are already FedRAMPed, but at the moment, we are looking into becoming FedRAMPed as a product ourselves.
What's the time frame on that?
We're hoping by the end of Q1 next year.
Okay, and you're doing SOC 2 compliance. You said every year you're recertifying. Yep. All right, because that's a big part. What about is there any other accreditations or certifications that people should know that you should have in this world for this?
So really what I would say is the only other thing is HIPAA. And with respect to HIPAA, it's for some of our medical clients that it's not really a necessity to be quote unquote HIPAA approved, right? Well, you need to be HIPAA compliant, but not HIPAA approved. So being able to provide the documentation as far as where data is stored in transit and at rest, as well as how frequently that data is purged, oftentimes is pretty much satisfied in 99% of cases. At the moment, we're not HIPAA quote unquote certified, but we are HIPAA compliant per those guidelines. But that's probably the only one that I run into fairly frequently.
Okay, so now let's turn this around a little bit. Now, as far as how do you enable your partners to be successful? So we talk about the onboarding experience. Mm-hmm. I look at we look at onboarding in two folds, right? One being how do you get them set up to use the product, but two, how do you get them set up to understand and enable them to actually represent the product? Right? Yeah, sell it, market it, whatever. So what do you guys do for both sides?
Yeah, 100%. So as far as today, actually, it's an interesting question that you're posing, because today the stakeholder kind of piece that they're reselling to their clients is initially going to be approached only towards the end of them leveraging it internally, right? If it works internally, does it make sense for your customers? So normally when we see MSPs approach us, they're leveraging it for an internal use and then expand into that stakeholder purpose. So we do have collateral that we would provide as far as the value add around when stakeholders can be alerted and some level of marketing content that they can pass along to their users to try and go through and pass that along. But with that said, we're actually starting a completely new program. As you know, we're kind of new to the space. We're starting a new program where we're actually going to be providing more of a community-oriented use case. So based on some of the things that we've seen other clients implement, based on the mechanisms they've used to implement the exact same things, maybe building stakeholder notification workflows based on time as well as SLA, as opposed to type and priority. So that criteria and some of those cool new use cases we're going to be passing along and building more community content there. So that's definitely on the roadmap. We're hoping to get that out by November. So a bit more of a community and stakeholder oriented newsletter there.
Yeah, it's pretty thorough, pretty detailed. So as an MSP business, how do you even sell it? Like, do you help them train? Because that's like, I want to be able to make money on it, right? Mm-hmm. That's dollar in, dollar out. And so figure it out.
100%. So I think that as far as how we're actually selling it, we're talking about people that are getting emails, right? And if you've got a critical support ticket opened or with a managed service provider and you've got an offline server, at that point, a lot of times email is not enough, especially if it's 2 a.m. and you know that part of your business has gone down. So a lot of it exists around visibility and SLA compliance. Can you ensure that your MSP is addressing this issue within a timely fashion? And this is a layer of redundancy that lets you sleep at night, right? So from an MSP perspective, ensuring that they actually do have all of their SLAs kind of prioritized and maintained and addressed, and there's no SLAs being breached. And from the actual client's perspective, are my SLAs being met? Am I getting what I'm paying for? Right. So that kind of validation there.
Nice. And just out of, the various different vendors that are out there and so forth, and, all the software tools out there, for your particular software, maybe what is like the one thing that you see people use the most often in your platform? Like, what is like the one thing, the nugget that just like you're known for? And it's like, this is what the feature that you guys kind of master.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say from a broader perspective, I'm going to say flexibility. Now, that really doesn't mean much as a standalone word. So flexibility in our scenario is a concept of one, decoupling our modules. So the concept of playbooks that are going to be orchestrated throughout the course of response aren't necessarily tied to people. If I say that playbook A, where 25 processes for a P1 are going to kick off, but that's only going to happen for my dispatch team, and I need to build that again for every other team or layer that exists, it's not really a scalable approach. And that's the model that a lot of alert management tools have taken in the ecosystem. So being able to standardize an operating procedure and apply that across different teams based on when something is appropriate to route there. So the decoupling is definitely a big piece, but the second piece is going to be open API. And everyone talks about it. Everyone says open API, but what does that really mean from an AlertOps context? The fact that we can take any payload and send out any payload is pretty crucial. Most modern services have fairly comprehensive APIs, full CRUD operational control just via the API. So for us to be able to change the type on a ticket or the board on a ticket when we receive a signal from a monitoring tool, rather than someone having to jump in and do that for one customer versus another customer following the same process, but instead of changing the type in the board, they're changing the priority and flagging a custom field. So while generically we see the process being the same, where they execute the process is often different. So AlertOps flexibility allows us to address that across tools.
That's pretty incredible. And I was just, looking at your integrations. I mean, I see, looks like hundreds of integrations on your site. Just I'm looking and scrolling through it, and I'm like, how big of a team do you have, and how long have you guys actually truly been around? And that's looks like a lot of development to do all those various different APIs. Can you touch base on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We are a fairly small team at the moment. We're still around 40 people. Now, with that said, though, that's one of the cool things about our framework, right? The whole no-code approach and us being able to ingest any payload makes it pretty easy for us to build an integration. I'd say that if a tool is capable of talking to an API, we take more time reading the documentation of that other tool than actually building an integration. As soon as we're comfortable navigating that tool, no longer than 15, 20 minutes for our team to get an integration up and running in our system.
That's really, really slick. And, and for those businesses that are watching this, and I go back to the basics, and it's really, draw out the client experience you want, draw out the alerts that you want, how you're going to solve particular things first and foremost, kind of write out each step. And then once you have that identified, then go to, your particular tool and just do some integration, and then actually set up the digital workflow. Because I think it's, common mistake a lot of us do is just immediately jump into technology and start programming. And it's like, well, this isn't the result we're wanting, and so forth. You want to talk on that? Like some experience, some case studies that you might have about use cases?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that a lot of the times for after-hour alerting, service desks of MSPs will get pretty excited that there's going to be a shift in the on-call lifestyle. Now, with that said, we've got tickets being ingested from their PSA, but we've also got tickets coming, or we've also got alarms coming directly from their monitoring tools. Now, their monitoring tools are also plugged into their PSA. So at this point, when people first get excited about it, I see less scoping and more plugging. Right? Well, what can I connect, and how much can I connect as quickly as possible? Well, let's slow down there. Let's take a step back. And I think that really we need to evaluate, one, does it make sense for your alarms to go directly to your ticketing tool first, or come through to AlertOps first and then go to your ticketing tool? And determining that order is pretty critical. And I think that's a step that a lot of people, when looking at incident response flows and automation between their integrations, really miss out on. What makes sense as your trigger to start your notification process? So starting from there, I'd say that in the case that there exists a lack of control on the monitoring tool side with respect to deduplicating or appending or correlation, then pipe it into AlertOps first, and then we will facilitate the interaction with any PSA that you have. Now, with that said, on the flip side, if everything looks good as far as how things are coming through to your PSA, then let's eliminate redundant sources of signals and let's push it directly from your PSA into your alert management system. So I think that's a small but pretty critical piece that a lot of people fail to consider there.
Yeah. So with all these different integrations, and I mean, is there, so I vaguely heard you say there was playbooks. Is there kind of like a set, like, hey, if you're going to integrate with ConnectWise Manage, here's kind of the playbook we see is successful, and there's these bundled
Good question.
people.
Good question. I like that question. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so 100%. And actually, we're ConnectWise is going to be one of the first that we've already rolled out. So we have documentation around the playbooks that you can build, but as far as templated out of the box, we're moving in that direction for a lot of integrations. ConnectWise is actually the first one. So with respect to tickets that we rolled out a couple months ago, what do people want to do? Do they want their notes logged whenever someone receives a message or updates or acknowledges? Do they want to pass along assignment? Do they want to modify the ticket in some capacity? Do they want to send notifications on updates to tickets? So a lot of those things are now templated out of the box with ConnectWise as our first successful attempt there, but looking forward to get more in the arsenal there as well.
Sweet. Oh, we do have a question from the crowd. I think it's Sean Lauder's father, if you will.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So how do you price this per user? What is a user?
Yeah, absolutely. So user is going to be anyone really interacting with the tool. So we're priced at per user per month. There are discounts both on an annual and a monthly basis, so deferring in the case you go monthly. And a user is going to be anyone interacting with the tool. Now, with that said, the prices that you see on our website are going to be for standard users, either people that are administering the tool or texts that are receiving on-call notifications. For anything with respect to stakeholder notifications, that's going to be special pricing that you would talk to sales regarding. So based on volume, that could be substantially discounted there as well.
So there's like a user and almost just like a receiver price, it sounds like. Because the user are the people that are actually actively using the tool for bi-directional documentation, all that stuff. And there's people that are just receiving notifications.
Yeah, exactly. We refer to them as stakeholders or non-interactive users, if you will.
Makes sense. And you said it's substantially less for that. So you have that listed anywhere?
Yeah, so that's going to be coming from sales. We'll send out a doc in the case people are generally interested in stakeholders. That starts at about $5, right? So $5 per user. But with that said, in the case that we're talking about 100, 200, 500, that substantially gets lower. That's just really on a case-by-case basis based on the volume there.
Cool. Sean, anything?
No. So I'm just thinking about this now. If you were to give me the top 3 reasons why a company would work with you all, what are they?
So flexibility is, we talk from a product perspective, automation and expert guidance, right? So we kind of internally go back this little FAX framework, FAX. Flexibility, we kind of discussed with respect to our integratability as well as the open API. From an automation standpoint, we have a very simple but powerful workflow engine. So in the case that any alerts, fields, any data that exists within that object is changed or modified, then we would kick off subsequent actions. So if a ticket is updated, or the priority of an alarm coming from SolarWinds, for example, is updated, whatever that might look like, we can build workflows to talk to people as well as systems that are branching out of your linear chain of command. So you're really building a bit of a tree, or a playbook, if you will, rather than escalating through a linear chain. So that automation piece, coupled with our flexibility to talk to any tool and trigger those actions based on a preset level of conditions, really builds a certain level of, like, I guess, sophistication into how deep you can go with your automation. And then finally, expert guidance. We've seen thousands of iterations of how people try to do the exact same thing, whether it's on call, whether it's stakeholder notification, business continuity, whatever that looks like. We have those templates, they're tried, tested, and we have that repository of best practice. So when you are assigned that customer success engineer, they'll definitely help you navigate some of the pitfalls that you otherwise might without this repertoire of information that we've built.
Awesome. So, okay. So now everybody was going to know, like you mentioned free trial, I believe.
Yeah, 100%. So we offer a free 14-day trial on our website. Definitely, you can check that out. And throughout the course of that as well, you can reach out for assistance from a success engineer that should be able to help you overcome any initial learning curve you might have there.
Is it full? There's no limitations to the trial that they would get with a paid subscription?
No. Trial defaults to the premium tier that is listed on our pricing page. In the case that you'd like to try any features out specifically from the MSP bundle or enterprise, you can definitely talk to sales, and we'd definitely be able to do that for you.
So is there a migration path too as you grow? Say again?
From existing competitors migrating from a different tool, or what would you mean there?
That, and also just the migration from like the standard offering to the enterprise as well. So both.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. So really, we do have some even automated methods depending on the tool that you're migrating from. So as far as importing users, building out groups, schedules, things of that nature, we actually, to some extent, have automated already. In other tools, depending on the tool, we would have a migration plan document that we would provide, and you could follow the steps as far as recreating any of the configuration using AlertOps methodology. As far as from standard to enterprise, that's a pretty big jump. So from that standpoint, I'd say that even within the enterprise tier, what we see a lot of the times is no one user is ever using 100% of the tool. Realistically, I'd say that on average at the enterprise tier, people are probably using around 80% of the tool. So each migration plan from a tier up or from a tier down to a higher tier is definitely going to be determined based on the objectives that they have and would like to expand into. So we would definitely offer solutions consulting around that as well.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, we are hitting the top of our 40-minute mark here. You know me and time. And we are at a show, and there's a lot of things going on here. And we have a crowd around here too.
There could be, they're fans. They're raving fans.
Raving fans of the ConnectWise.
It's amazing.
And Sean Lardo specifically, but
I'm just a
Cam, mere servant. Any closing thoughts? Maybe like, is there a free promo code or anything like that you got going on? Or what are you gonna do with the winnings? Fun fact about you, like all those questions.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, fun fact about me. Well, I had written down on the slide that we had, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that one chip challenge thing. I tried it and I failed it twice. So that's my
you failed it twice. So you went back for more and lost again. That's a shame.
I was pretty confident that didn't pan out for me.
So I had Adam's like from a different world. He's like, no, yeah, it's they put the peppers on it and stuff like this. It's they wrap it in plastic so nobody can touch it. You eat it and you have to sit there for 20 minutes and not drink milk or anything. It is like, it basically is like they put lava in your mouth And I did it. So I did.
Why would you do that? Like, it's better than, I guess, Tide Pods or whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I did the peanut one. And you're supposed to eat a tube of peanuts. And I'm like, you're supposed to eat a tube of peanuts by yourself. You're supposed to take 2 every minute, they said, and eat, and then sit there for 5 minutes when you're done, and just, that's how you win. Man, I ate 1 peanut. I ate 2 peanuts. I'm sorry, I'm lying. I ate 2 peanuts, and I was like, I can't eat this tube. I was dying. It felt like my face was falling off.
Oh yeah, big time. I tried it the first time. I think I got to like 10 minutes. So I figured, I'm gonna power through it the second time. Didn't work out.
That's pretty crazy. So, Cam, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us live here and going through your products. It's a really fantastic tool for kind of letting your techs kind of sleep a little bit, kind of enhancing the alerts and
honestly,
kind of.
They probably document like 3 hours of work a day.
A lot of stress. Yeah. So this has been fantastic. We are here live at IT Nation Evolve.
Right in Denver.
Nice. And we're actually right at the bar, and we have a lot.
We are by the bar.
Yeah.
That's why there's a crowd. There's a crowd
at the bar. But we're going to be here live again on Thursday.
Yes.
Are you going to be here on Thursday?
Yes.
So we're going to see if we can go.
We're going. I thought we were going axe throwing on Thursday, right?
We are.
Yeah, you invited.
We're going to go axe throwing with a bunch of MSPs.
We're going to see what happens.
Like at a bar. I don't know. Those two don't mix, but it's going to be fun.
Yes.
So looking forward to this. It's been fantastic, Cam. Appreciate it. Thank you, Facebook community, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you need any help on any integrations and service boards and setting up things, and contact us at CR Pacific Group. We'll be happy to scope out a project. And if you're a vendor watching this as well, PitchIT is a great platform for you to grow your business and learn and educate, because it's an awesome 16-week training course to kind of get more integrated understanding, and
you get to meet good people.
And you get to meet good people, Sean, as well.
Adam. Good Adam.
Ricky Bobby, what is it? Shake and bake.
Shake and bake.
so awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Bye, everybody.